Welcome everybody to our webinar. We are Project Connect and we love to host these webinars and have people come around from all different types of organizations and sort of share their stories and their missions and how they started up their organizations in order to help other people who want to start their own as well. And I wanted to ask, if possible, please turn your camera on so we can foster a greater sense of community between each other. And if at any time anybody has questions, please feel free to ask in the chat. Everyone here is experienced or has some words of wisdom that they'd like to share, and we would all be more than happy to help. So, I wanted to start this and introduce myself for those of you who are joining and don't know me. I'm Andra Campos, and I'm the founder slash developer of Project Connect. So, I developed the website myself, and I do have this QR code if you guys would be willing to scan it. I might have messaged some of you and let you know that I was nominated for a scholarship called the Desire to Inspire Award. And so, if you guys would feel free to scan that and it takes only 5 seconds. You just have to scroll and vote for Andra Campos. I'm currently in the lead right now, and I want to maintain that lead. So if you guys find this webinar helpful, I would really appreciate you taking 5 seconds out of your day to do so. A little bit about me is that I'm interested in coding, so I'm a senior in high school right now, and I plan to major in either computer science or data science. Another thing that I'm also the founder of is Solace for Outdoor Workers, which is a nonprofit organization dedicated to providing outdoor workers with sunscreen and sun safety gear in order for them to be safe since they spend so much time working outside in the sun. We actually just got a grant of $1,000 and we are currently distributing sunscreen products throughout the US. So out of 12 of my chapters, or actually I think it's 14 now, we gave out some donations to four chapters in Texas, Northern California, and Arizona, as well as Southern California. So it's really exciting. And if you guys have any questions about seeking grants or starting your own nonprofit or a chapter, you can feel free to reach out to me. Before we go on with this slide, I also wanted my social media director to introduce herself a little bit and maybe say what she does.
Hi, my name is Adya. I'm the social media director of Project Connect. Essentially, all like the graphics you see on our Instagram, like the stories, posts, whatever, that's the stuff I create. I really like to graphic design. I find that really enjoyable. And I've worked with other youth nonprofits and organizations, and we've made collaboration posts to feature Project Connect and the other posts, such as one we did with Estrella Connect, where we talked about passion projects. And essentially, we just educate others on how to make their own.
She has been extremely helpful, so I always like to thank her. If you guys are interested in starting an organization, definitely get somebody who you know you can rely on, somebody who is a hard worker. And she just has such an amazing vision. Like all the visuals that she makes are so good. And if it were just me, these visuals would not have been as aesthetically pleasing as you see them now. So I just wanted to give a shout out to her and sort of go on to the next slide. So, for those of you who don't really know what Project Connect is, it's a website forum dedicated to helping motivated students find like-minded individuals to start their own passion projects. So, essentially, you just make a post on our website, and other people will sort of scroll and see that they're interested in it and sign up to become a member or volunteer or start a chapter and things like that. So, it's really beneficial to both sides, whether you're a student looking for an organization to get involved in and find something to put on your college applications, or you're an organization trying to get the word out and recruit, or even network with other organizations. This is a really helpful way to do so. On our website, so as I mentioned, you can feel free to advertise your project or find others to collaborate with. If you're interested, you can go ahead and make a post today or see what passion projects best fit you. There's always other organizations looking for chapter directors or volunteers to recruit, so you can go ahead and check us out at projectconnectforum.com. So, I wanted to discuss why it's important to start a passion project. These are more than just extracurriculars to put on your college applications. While it is extremely important to find a passion project to put on, especially if you're applying to Ivy Leagues, just because it really portrays your interest in something, it's also important for personal growth. I've learned so many skills by starting my own website and starting my own nonprofit, whether they're in leadership or communication, because it requires so much of you, and I've grown so much as a person this past maybe year, maybe 2 years almost. Um, so I'd very much recommend starting your own passion project if you're interested in going to a good college, but also growing as a person. And I wanted to let you know that your passion project doesn't have to have a huge impact on the world like curing cancer, because I know we see these Harvard admits and they're like, oh yeah, I just did a bunch of research at ISEF and I got first place. And this is very unrealistic for of a goal for you to set for yourself. So don't be sort of unmotivated if you see that you're not where you want to be, because you will get there eventually. And as long as you're doing something you love, you will get there because you want to put in the effort to do it. And there's also numerous opportunities out there for you to get involved in, besides starting something you're on your own. So make sure that you explore all the passion projects that there really is and find something that you're interested in. Before we get started with the presentations that we have from other organizations, I wanted us all to network. So, every organization, if you could send in your Instagram in the chat and connect, this is really useful to maybe have future collaborations or just get to know other people in your field or even in the community of organizations. So, if you have one and you're in this Zoom, you can go ahead and put that in the chat now. I'll give you guys a few seconds to just go ahead with that. And also, feel free if you don't already to follow each other and sort of get to know each other better, because within this community, there is so many organizations that are so helpful, whether they'll just repost your post or work on a collab with you. They have such a great community. Everybody here is so amazing and kind and sweet and willing to help. So even if you're not an organization, maybe checking them out and reaching out to them if they sound like something you might be interested in is good too, because everyone is always looking to help. While I go on to the next slide, if you are joining late and you want to still mention your organization, you can go ahead and do that in the chat whenever you'd like. And like I mentioned, at any time within this webinar, feel free to ask questions that you have for people who are presenting or people in the chat in general. Everyone is always willing to help. So, our first organization that we have presenting and giving some advice is the Lotus Project. So if you're here, just feel free to let me know and I'll get off so you can share your screen. Okay, they might be joining late. So if we have Care for Poor here now, you guys could present. So just let me know. And if not, then I know that we have Physics Pulse here, so I'll have you guys present since I know that you do have to leave a bit early. Okay, so I do see that we have some people who just let me know that they're going to be joining late. So if we have Physics Pulse here, which I saw that you guys said hi in the chat, you could feel free to share your screen and present.
So how can I share my screen?
Do you have your presentation ready? Like,
Yes.
you can just go on the Zoom, and if you're on computer, at the bottom, it should have like a green button, and you can just press share. Let me know if you don't have permissions, and I'd be happy to give them to you.
Do you guys see it or
Yeah, I could see it just fine, so I think you're good.
hmm, okay. Mm, once okay. So, hello everyone. Thank you for having me here. So, this is such an amazing opportunity, and I would like to thank everyone for being here and Project Connect for hosting this. So to get started, I want to introduce you guys to my organization, Physics Pulse. So, introduction. So, who are we? Physics Pulse is a student-led organization that aims to provide content in an interesting way that defines the stereotype of physics. Our mission is to help you see the physics all around you in a different way. So I know that the majority of people, when they think of physics, they think of like nerds or like you have to be smart in order to actually understand it, which is not true. That is why I have created this organization to prove that. And we believe that physics is not just in the classroom, it is everywhere around us. Okay, so what do we do? Our organization provides the latest update news about physics weekly. Additionally, we share fun facts about physics every 2 weeks, explore the physics in everyday life weekly, and even debunk some physics myth every 2 weeks. Apart from articles, we also organize events every month, like guest speaker or competition and workshop, which will be happening very soon if you are following us on Instagram. And through our organization, you will have the opportunity to learn and have fun. And who knows, you might even develop a love for physics. And there's something for everyone. So we believe that you should join us in this exciting journey as we are going on our mission. Okay, so personally, I feel like the three biggest challenge for being a founder of an online organization is that the first one is lack of interest. So people tend to check out our page and then they just leave. They didn't have any engagement, they didn't follow us, they didn't read our article and anything. So how we're fixing that is we are making interactive content like we are currently having a quiz post every week so that we can have more engagement. The second problem we found is lack of reach. So I know that lots of people are looking to join us because they want to either have like a good extracurricular for their resume or they are interested in physics. But due to our organization just start 3 weeks ago, I feel like we are lacking of reach to the audience. So how we solving that is that we're collaborating with other organizations so that we can reach more people all while we are able to learn from them. And lastly, I feel like the biggest issue we're having right now is lack of members. So, like I mentioned before, because people usually think that physics is for like the smart one, the nerds one, so they don't want to join us. And while I think that liking physics is a bonus while joining us, it is not necessary. So I really recommend you guys to join us if you guys are looking for like a good extracurricular or just join to have fun. And you can scan the QR code over there that I share on the slide so that you can check out our Linktree account. Okay. So we have created the organization for 3 weeks now. And while there are many achievements, I feel like the biggest achievement we have right now is an awesome team members. Without them, I feel like I wouldn't be able to have what I have right now. And I feel like I wouldn't be able to reach many people and have more awesome members to join our team. And before I end the slideshow, if I can only give one tip to those who are looking to start an online organization, it is to start now. And I know that you might not feel like you're ready and you might feel like um you should create more stuff before you actually start it. That is personally for me anyway, that is wrong because you should start now. By starting now, you already solve 50% of what you're going through and that is the problem. So by starting now, you're really getting a head start. So that is my only tip. And yeah, that is all I have for today. Thank you again for the Project Connect for having me here, and thank you everyone for listening to me.
Of course, we're more than happy to hear your presentation, and I think that that was a wonderful little segment just shouting out that you guys have amazing team members. I think having team members really makes a difference. Um,
Yeah.
so next up, we have Teenage Overload. If you guys are here and ready to present, you can go ahead and share your screen.
Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Ikra, and I'm one of the founders of Teenage Overload and its representative today. We are a youth organization dedicated towards providing the essential and insightful resources needed to help public high schoolers have a successful high school career and be well prepared for college apps. Why we started. Personally, as a first generation and firstborn of my family, it was extremely hard to find opportunities because I didn't know where to even start looking. I was stressed about my college applications, especially when my peers seemed so far ahead. I didn't want others in the same situation or just in general to feel the same lack of hope. So we created this platform to provide information and hopefully level the playing field and in the ever competitive reality of applying to colleges and pursuing a successful future. How we're executing our mission. We currently have our Instagram page at Teenage Overload where we are creating informative posts. We try to post consistently and utilize Reels to engage and increase our audience so that our mission can reach and impact a larger audience. We are also building our social media team for graphic designer and video creative positions. So if you or anyone you know is interested, we would love to have you. On the management side, we try to build relationships with other youth organizations or nonprofits so that we can contribute to the supportive community. Additionally, we are also currently building our website where we hope to post in-depth blogs and potentially interviews with current college students so that high schoolers will be able to freely access informative information of potential majors they're interested or something similar. We would love your involvement and support on our journey. While it hasn't been too long since we created Teenage Overload, it has definitely been a rewarding experience. Being able to pursue a topic you are passionate about in a real world setting definitely allows the doors to open for new opportunities as well as make your own. You truly gain a multitude of leadership skills and gain new experiences that you didn't know were possible before, such as learning how to get certified as a nonprofit. My advice would definitely also be to start immediately, don't postpone, and also don't get discouraged while you start your journey. There will definitely be some slow bumps ahead, and it's easy to get discouraged during those times. But if you truly remember what you're passionate about, you should be able to just move right through it and get successful. So don't get discouraged and always ask questions. Thank you.
Your advice was wonderful, and I think you guys also mentioned how you use Reels, and we at Project Connect have grown so much using Reels. So for any organizations trying to grow, I think Reels would be your best bet. Next up, we have Live to Learn presenting. So if you're here, you can go ahead and share your screen.
I'm not on my phone right now, but if someone else wants to go, I can join from my computer and go after the next organization.
Yeah, for sure. Um, let me see who's up next. So next up, we have Echo Tutoring. So if you're here, you can go ahead and present.
All right. Hi, everyone. Thank you for Project Connect for granting us this opportunity to present in front of you guys today. Just to introduce myself, my name is Hudson, and I'm the Executive Director for ECHO. And it's my pleasure to introduce you all to our organization today. Our mission is to promote musical passion for students of all ages by eliminating financial and time barriers. So we're going to do this through number one, musical education, number two, performance opportunities, and number three, reducing the financial barrier for equipment. So diving into the specifics of what we do exactly, we offer free online music lessons with high school volunteers. free posts to promote music education, performance opportunities for our students, and fundraisers to support musicians. We are a global organization, and we've reached 9+ countries, 16+ schools, and our instructors and students play 10+ instruments. So this diversity and exchange of ideas allows us to really strive in that front. Our beginning, Echo was created in August 2024 by co-founders Iris Cow and Catherine Hu. They wanted to help more young musicians in their community be able to pursue their dreams regardless of financial or time commitments. So since then, we've expanded beyond our hometown of Novi, Michigan, which is 45 minutes outside of Detroit. And we've reached musicians from all around the globe. So here's our team right here. I'm up there along with Iris and Catherine. And then we have Daru, Kahini, Lily, Crystal, and Sol in our leadership team. Our tutors are very experienced and very qualified. We're national competition finalists, top ensemble musicians in our schools and communities. MSBOA All-State Musicians, which is the organizing band for Michigan, and honors band musicians. So to talk more about our story, we're gonna first go with some trial and error and the obstacles we had to overcome. As a high school organization, we struggled obviously with reach, organization, and effective communication, which I think is some universal struggles that we've heard a lot about today. Our plan to address these shortcomings is number one, to expand connections. So this is through our social media campaigns, our outreach to esteemed nonprofit organizations, and to establish support network with the other nonprofits. Number two, we've created a community of musicians within our organization. We have a shared server where we all can discuss about music. We have a leadership team that is from all around the world and represents diverse cultures and ideas. And we have plans to host global events to take advantage of this diversity. Organization, we have a detailed organization plan with records, documents, spreadsheets to keep our operations moving smoothly. Number two, our development. So for reach, Instagram, once again, networking with other nonprofits and creating various content and finding leadership from not within our local community. Outreach, so we've crafted emails to other organizations and we've taken initiative to be the first step in what we want to do. In terms of organization, as I mentioned before, we use Notion, which is basically a workflow site like Trello or anything like that. Google Drive for, file sharing, Discord for our chatting and communications, and Appointment for scheduling our lessons. So yeah, we just keep trying. Just when something doesn't work, we just keep going, keep at it again. So I think our efforts will eventually be paid off. Number three, so the end or the beginning. So if any of you are musicians, we really encourage you to become a tutor for us. You can gain volunteer hours while demonstrating your passion for your instrument. And the link right up is up there. If you're interested in becoming a student for us or gaining better practice skills at your instrument, learning technique from high schoolers like you, then you can schedule lessons at that link below. And we are opening a chapter program. So if you're interested in starting your local chapter, we provide everything you need, the blueprint, the guidelines, the documents, everything, all the hard work is done for you. And all you have to do is be the leader in your local community. So you have full access to our global tutoring network, 24/7 assistance, and you can enhance your resume with volunteer hours and leadership positions. Thank you everyone for listening. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. Follow our social media here and in the chat for updates. And once again, thank you to Project Connect for giving us this opportunity to present today.
Yeah, of course, and thank you so much for presenting. I think that you gave some really great points and advice. So let me go ahead and share my screen for who's next. We do have the Youth Horizon next, and I also just wanted to mention that we did have the Lotus project here. However, I don't think the founder could make it and she came down with something, so I did want to thank her for trying and just shout her out since some of you guys didn't get to see. So if the Youth Horizon isn't here, then I'm just gonna go ahead and check on the next organizations that we have. Oh, okay. Sorry. Um, oh, okay. So Live to Learn is actually here now, so you guys can go ahead and present. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for letting us share. 1 second. Okay, so my organization is called Live to Learn. I'm one of the founders. Unfortunately, our other founder couldn't come, so just me today. So this is our mission. So our mission is to inspire, teach, and guide young children in our community to discover new opportunities. So our organization is basically an organization in our community where we host creative and unique camps which the children can join. They're completely free and they're super accessible since they have in-person classes, sports camps, academic classes, music classes, and so much more. We strive to educate children through many different platforms, so whether that be through our high school chapters or through our local chapters that do not have high school founders. Um, Children can join these events through numerous ways. One of our biggest ways of marketing is through WhatsApp, since a lot of parents use that platform and it's really easy to get children. Instagram is also one of our biggest platforms because we can reach out to so many different high school students and middle school students, and they can sign up to be tutors or help us with any other things. So we've had several events in these past month. One of our biggest events was our back to school COGAT camp. This was a huge success because it was one of our first events and classes that we were teaching. Students got to learn a bunch of different things when it came to English or in the math. And then our next event was a community volunteering opportunity. So we're not just a organization that goes through the classes part, but we also have amazing volunteer opportunities. We have a clothes drive, we have opportunities at runs, and every person that volunteers gets volunteering hours, and hopefully, and we can sign them off. And we are always looking for more tutors to come and help us because we're always open to holding camps. We're super flexible. Most of our camps take place during breaks, so Thanksgiving break, winter break, spring break, and summer break, because we know everyone's super duper busy and we want them to be flexible and do it on their own time. We don't want to rush them. Um, Anyone is welcome to sign up. Most of our classes are held online, so anything is possible. We are looking for more volunteering opportunities as well as volunteers to help with our classes since we do have a lot of kids signing up and we don't want to have more than 10 kids in a class because it's super hard to teach. I think that's most of our organization. We're super excited to keep on growing and collaborate with other organizations. We're really open to collaborating and then hyping each other up. Make sure to sign up. We have a bunch of links on our Instagram and our Facebook. So if you guys ever want to tutor any kids or get easy volunteering hours, then this is a great place to sign up. And then thank you to Project Connect for letting us speak. It's a great opportunity and we would love to collaborate with you guys more. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much for that amazing presentation. So I did send a message in the chat, but let me just share my screen again. We did have some people who we were unsure if they were presenting. So if you're with the organization Vaccine Vanguard, I'm gonna pronounce it SAHI, but I'm pretty sure it's an acronym. UBC or the Pakistan Tehreek Insaf. Please let me know so I can let you share your screen. Yeah, so I do think that they're not here today. So that concludes our webinar. If anybody has any questions, I do want to let you go ahead and ask those now in case you wanted to wait until the end. So I'll give you guys a minute if anybody has any questions about starting an organization, or anything like that. In the meantime, I do want to give my 2 cents since I have been with Project Connect for almost a year now. For those of you who are trying to grow your organization, I do think that a lot of people mentioned one of their hardest things was recruiting members. I think that social media and forms as Reels or TikTok really helps get people because that's how I think we gained a majority of our followers. People like short Reels to sort of interact with. So if that's something that you might be interested in, I do think that that could be very helpful to organizations looking to grow or recruit members. But if we don't have any questions, oh, I see. We do have one. And this was a direct message, but it's from Jennifer saying, how do you create an organization? As in like what's needed to make one. So it really depends on what you want to do. If you would like to sort of give me that a specific idea that you have, I could sort of help you figure out how to execute it. But for example, what I did with my nonprofit Solus was that I registered for official 501(c)(3) status as a nonprofit through a Hack Club fiscal sponsorship. So basically, what they do is that they have their own nonprofit, and we're sort of like a branch off from them. So they do handle that same 501(c)(3) status that we have. And through them, we're also able to offer the Presidential Volunteer Service Award, volunteer or community hours, and just have that more official title, which I think that a lot of people are looking for. But I do want to let you know that you should not limit yourself to having that official title. I started my nonprofit without having that title, and it was fine. And then I just wanted to get that official status, so I later on did do that. But you can start your organization without having that. So don't let that stop you. If anything, I would say try and start it first, and then from there you can file. But a lot of organizations take their time before they actually become an official nonprofit. Another question we had was, do we offer the Presidential Volunteer Service Award? We do. I offer it through Solus. So for those of you who might be interested in volunteering with public health focus, then I think that volunteering at my nonprofit would help you. But if you're more interested in maybe networking or website development, we do also offer that award if you do, I think it's about 100 hours with us. It really just depends on your age. Because the Presidential Volunteer Service Award does have like um, a sort of status. So if you're under 15, you need a maximum 100 hours, and if you're 16 and over, it does require um, over 100 hours. And I'll type it in the chat for you guys who may not know about my nonprofit. So it's, and then the at is here. And then somebody else asked, do you know how to start a nonprofit without paying for it first? If I can't find a sponsor for a nonprofit, is there another way? So, I think having a sponsor is the cheapest way. It's actually free. Actually filing for 501(c)(3) is the costly route, and it also requires a lot of time and a lot of effort. And I know that it's a bit of a struggle for a lot of people who do want to start their own. So I'll look in the chat and send you guys that link that I used. It's completely free, so you don't have to put any money into it just to get that status. And this is the link. Um, the next question was, what also you guys can send this like in the chat instead of direct messaging me so other people can see your question if they join later. But the question was, what do you need to start an organization, not a nonprofit? So, with that, I would say your main focus is socials. So, I would recommend first starting an Instagram. So, having that username, having that official organization name down, and just making informative posts. So let's say, for example, your organization is based on well, this is my organization, so I'll give you a different example. Your organization is based on cancer awareness. So you could just go ahead and make posts. Maybe one day you make a post on melanoma awareness, another day you make a post on breast cancer awareness, and then um, things like that, or maybe some research opportunities for people who are interested in doing research on cancer. So when you start an organization, you have a lot more wiggle room with that regard. So you don't really necessarily have to do those official like seeking grants or um, filing for 501(c)(3) or things like that. You can really just sort of make and spread awareness through an organization. Somebody else asked if it's possible to start a passion project without the 501(c)(3), and yes, I would say actually if you want to, even if you do officially want to start a nonprofit, I would recommend that you start out without the 501(c)(3). Just make those posts, maybe get your followers up to like 100 and get some volunteers who want to help you out with your organization. I would actually recommend, even if you know that down the road you want to start a nonprofit, you just start out without that 501(c)(3) status because it's much easier to sort of build your way up from the bottom than just starting out all the way at the top. Somebody else asked, how do you get a sponsor for the 501(c)(3)? So I did send that link in the chat. So I'm gonna send it again, but it's just the Hack Club physical sponsorship. So they sponsor you to also allow you to get that 501(c)(3) status. So if you guys have any more questions, you can feel free to send that in the chat right now, or you could DM me at Project Connect Forum, or through Solus, like I mentioned before in the chat. If anybody has any more questions, you can go. I'll give you guys like a minute to sort of wrap things up, maybe come up with some thoughts, and then we will be concluding the webinar. But you guys so far have asked some really great and useful questions that I think a lot of people were wondering, so great job. Okay, so somebody asked, do we need to do a form or something to start an organization, or can we just post our organization on Instagram after getting a team? So actually, you could start your organization on Instagram without even having a team, maybe just starting it yourself and then recruiting members after it gets a little bit more momentum. But you don't need to do any official status. Like I mentioned before, you can really just start posting on Instagram and get your following up a bit and start communicating with more people. And then from there, you can maybe build a team or file for status or a sponsorship. So you can really start out small. When you want to start a nonprofit, it does not need to start out as big and scary as it might sound. Somebody else asked if my nonprofit is not a 501(c)(3), does it still count as a good passion project for college applications? Um, and I would say, yeah, it does. The real truth is that colleges are probably getting bombarded with nonprofits now. I feel like a lot of people are just starting them. So you need to make sure that what you're starting is a little bit unique, bring something new to the table that they probably haven't seen before, or conveys your interest in a way that stands out. Because a lot of people are interested in biology, for example. A lot of people want to be pre-med, but if you start something that's a little bit more niche than the other people, like, for example, what sounds better? I started a nonprofit interested in biology, or I started a nonprofit interested on the, like a specific sector within biology. So maybe like bringing education to younger children within the ages of 5 to 10 and bringing them more education in a area where maybe um, the STEM education is not so prevalent. So that would sort of help you stand out better as opposed to just doing a more generic idea. But to tie that back into the question, it does not matter whether you're 501c3 or not. 501c3 really just gives you the perks. It's more about what you do with that passion project and how you portray it as opposed to getting an official status. Somebody else asked me, when did you start making your nonprofit and posting about it, and how long does it take to actually create a nonprofit? It takes a lot of time and effort, I'm not gonna lie to you. So that's why when you start something, it's important that you start something that you love and you're very passionate about because you're going to be putting in a lot of time and effort. And if you're interested in English, but you're starting a biology nonprofit, you're not going to enjoy that, and odds are you're going to end up abandoning that within a couple of days. So it's important that you start something that you are genuinely passionate about. Um, and it really doesn't take long to actually create it. I mean, you need to have that idea down, and ideas come to you at the most random time and random place. So it really just depends on what you're interested in and what you think that you want to do. If you already have an idea, it might take you less time than if you don't have an idea already. So it doesn't take too long to actually get started and start making the posts, but it really just depends on what you have in mind already so far. Somebody else asked me what are different types of passion projects, and it can be anything that you like. Like I mentioned before, I started my nonprofit, Solace for Outdoor Workers, on giving outdoor workers like construction workers and gardeners sun safety gear. I mean, it's a pretty random topic, but it was something that I was genuinely passionate about after doing research following my internship at an NIH funded program. So it really just depends on what you're interested in. And a passion project can be anything that you like. It does not have to be biology or history or something very generic. It can be anything that you really are interested in. That's the whole purpose of a passion project. It's something that you like and not just something that anybody else could do. Because the truth is, a lot of college applications are getting those passion projects in, and they might just be Instagram accounts with 2 or 3 posts talking about mental health. That's not necessarily what they're looking for. They're looking for something that you have put time and effort into, something that is unique and stands out, and something that has been able to make that impact. Um, another comment that I got was if there's any website that I can use to find volunteers or board members for my future nonprofit. So that's where Project Connect comes in. So if you can use Project Connect and make a post on there to promote your organization, and from there, people who are looking for extracurricular opportunities will volunteer with your organization if it's something they're interested in. For example, if there's a high school student looking for more opportunities in healthcare and your nonprofit is focused on helping people in hospitals by giving donations, that's something that somebody might apply to for volunteer hours, and you might get some members. So you can use that. I would also suggest maybe LinkedIn or just getting your reach out through Instagram after you sort of build up a following on your own to recruit actual board members. Somebody also asked or mentioned that some people are interested in hours, but schools require it to be from nonprofits. How can you give those hours out to the volunteers that volunteered in your organization? That's when getting 501c3 status might be of importance to you. So if you're starting something and you want volunteers or you want to give volunteer hours, you will need that 501c3 status. But like I mentioned before, if you get a sponsorship from Hack Club, which is completely free, all it takes is some time and paperwork, then you can go ahead and do that. It just really matters what your organization is interested in accomplishing. Somebody else also asked, how much does it cost to start a nonprofit? It shouldn't cost you anything. If you get that fiscal sponsorship, it should be free. But if you decide to go on your own independent route and file for it yourself, it might be anywhere up to $500. Somebody else asked, can a nonprofit with no 501c3 status give out volunteer hours? I'm not too sure about the actual logistics on it. I think that it's best practice for you to be a 501c3 organization and give out volunteer hours. Because that's what I do at Solus. We do have official status, so it is easier for us to give out hours. But I also know that clubs at schools, for example, can give out volunteer hours. So if you start your organization, start a club at your school for it, you could probably give out volunteer hours that way and have people be more interested in doing it through there as opposed to paying for it or doing the paperwork. Another question I got was, in what grade did you make your nonprofit and was it easy to balance it with schoolwork? So I was interested the summer following my 10th grade year, so I started it officially my 11th grade year. And I'm not gonna lie, it's not that easy to balance, but that's why I mentioned before, do something that you love because you're going to end up having to choose and balance things. If you're doing something that you love, you won't be too upset that you have to do your homework and I have to do work for your nonprofit because you care about the subject that you're focusing on. But if you're doing a bunch of homework and then you're taking like 4 or 5 or maybe even like 6 AP classes, and then you have to do work for this nonprofit that you don't really even care about, it's not going to work out. So you need to find something that you think that you can dedicate most of your time to. Somebody said, would you recommend starting a chapter about the organization at a school? And yes, I really would. I think that the amount of nonprofits that are being started is getting quite saturated, and starting a chapter at your school can be just as monumental or beneficial to you, as opposed to starting your own organization about something that you could have started a chapter for. If you don't think that you can really bring anything new to the table, or you're having a really hard time getting it started or having an idea, I would recommend starting a chapter because you can get that same experience and leadership experience through that without having to file for 501(c)(3) or figure out the logistics or come up with a name or constantly be making posts. It's really up to what you have in mind and what you feel most comfortable with. But of course, I would recommend starting a chapter. And yeah, of course, I'm more than happy to answer all of you guys' questions. I mean, I've been doing this for, I think, like a year and a half now, and so I feel like I have some experience, and I'm more than happy to share it with people who need it because I didn't come out of the womb with my own nonprofit and website. I needed help. I was really confused, and I would have really appreciated it if somebody could have just sat down with me and gave me that advice because I had a bunch of questions. And let me just say this. I started my nonprofit having no idea about fiscal sponsorships or even how to file for it when you're paying. Or I knew nobody who had started a nonprofit. And all my family, who is a very supportive family, told me not to do it because they were like, we don't know anybody who started a nonprofit. It's pointless and it's not worth the time. And I did it anyways because it was something I cared about and I wanted to make a change. I didn't see other organizations helping out outdoor workers who were more likely to get melanoma, so I decided to take that into my own hands. And so when you find something that you truly care about, you will be able to start that nonprofit and get over the barriers because there will be barriers. So I just recommend finding something that you genuinely care about and also will put the time and effort into. Um, it's a difficult experience, but it's extremely rewarding. And for those of you who have just joined, I'm just answering some questions. So if you have any questions about starting an organization, I would be more than happy to answer. And somebody else just asked me if my nonprofit, Souls for Outdoor Workers, is a 501(c)(3). Yes, it is, but we did it through a fiscal sponsorship as well. Somebody else asked if Project Connect is looking for team members or non-executive positions. We have been looking a bit more into getting a few more social media directors. So if anybody is interested in either making reels or making post content for us and editing, we would definitely be interested in accepting positions. So you could just feel free to shoot us a message after the Zoom and go ahead and let us know. Also, for anybody joining, if you have any feedback on the website or any features that you'd be interested or anything that you would just think would be useful for you as somebody interested in starting a passion project, we would be more than happy to hear your concerns or questions or feedback and work on that because we're all about giving out resources to people who are struggling to find them. And I know from firsthand experience, it could be hard to find all those resources, even if we have Google in front of us. It doesn't give us the exact answers we want, so I would love to make that experience easier for everybody. Oh, so somebody said if there's any organizations currently open for joining, since she's interested in, or uh, kind of interested to join in on STEM. Um, there's a lot of organizations. So if you go on our website, and you can control search for the word that you're interested in, so STEM, biology, chemistry, physics, there's a lot of organizations who are actively looking to recruit members. So you can just go on through there. We also just had a presentation from a physics organization, which I'll go ahead and mention, just in case you're interested in physics. And this is the Instagram. But for those of you who are joining and looking for extracurriculars, you can go ahead and go to the website and, like I mentioned, just control search to find a word that you're interested in and then find those organizations and you can feel free to apply to them because they have their contact info right there. So probably Linktree or social media, and from there they'll be accepting positions. Somebody asked what colleges am I applying to? So I am a senior and I'm applying to the UCs and um, Stanford, which is my dream school, but a crazy reach. So I'd really like to go to like UC Irvine or UCLA, anything sort of close to home. Somebody asked me if I know any organizations looking for board members or officers. At the moment, I don't have any at the top of my head, but like I mentioned, you can go on our website and look for something you're interested in. So I know we have a lot of extracurriculars on there. There's like about 650. That's a lot to scroll through, which is why I recommend using that control search feature. So just if you're on your phone, you can press like find to look, or if you're on your laptop, just Command F to find a word. Find that field of interest that you're looking for. So for instance, search up biology, look through them, and then I'm sure that there is plenty who are looking for board members. And we also have a lot of connections to organizations, so you can look through our following maybe and find those organizations that you're interested in and see if they're accepting. Actually, I do think Origami for uh, Good or something like that is looking for board members, so I can put their link in here. Yeah. So their organization, I think, is looking for executive board members at the moment. Um, so if you're interested in working for an organization like that, then you can go ahead and apply. Okay, so if anybody has any more questions, you can go ahead and DM me or us at Project Connect Forum, or you can go ahead and ask them right now, and then we'll close up this meeting. Okay, so I think that we're good on questions. I thank everybody for giving some amazing questions and hopefully helping out some other people who didn't ask their questions. I just wanted to say, if I didn't say this at the beginning, that we've just reached 10K, so I really appreciate everybody who's followed and supported us throughout this journey. It's definitely been a crazy one, but a fun one. Thank you so much for all the congratulations and the support. Anybody has any questions, like I mentioned, you can feel free to DM us, and we're more than happy. I'm more than happy to give anybody any types of support, or if they need any extracurriculars, I can help them go look for that or just find out what they're interested in. Before we close up, we had got one more question. Somebody asked, do top colleges like UC's care more about passion projects or good scores? Um, I am in a California resident, so I know that they don't consider the SAT for me. Good scores do definitely matter when you're applying to top schools. I mean, if you don't fit a certain threshold, they might just not really look at your application. But good scores are what get you in the door, like your GPA. And then besides that, your passion projects and your extracurriculars are there to push you and help you stand out. So both really do matter. I would say that they do give you a more holistic review though. So I think that extracurriculars can definitely help you if you're lacking in other fields, or if you also have time to explain your additional information, if you had something come up that made your GPA drop, you can definitely let them know too, and they'll consider that as well. Great. So thank you all for some amazing questions and thank you for the support. We might be having another webinar sometime next month. And I also wanted to say that we will be posting a story asking for any more of your questions. And then from there, we'll be making a post and just sort of answering your questions from a place of experience. So if you're interested in having some more questions asked and answered, you can go ahead and do that. We will start doing that monthly. So hopefully your answers can help some other people, so don't be shy. Thank you all so much, and thank you all again for 10,000 followers. Um, and yeah, this was such an amazing webinar. Okay, great. Thank you all so much. Have a great day. Bye-bye.